Hi, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be continuing the winter preparation that I started last week. Now, last week we were able to get the hives broken down so that I just have one deep and one medium on each one of the hives, and I was able to get a gallon of sugar syrup on each one of the hives after we were done filming last week. I've also been open feeding from the bench sugar syrup all week long, so the girls, I'm sure that their sugar stores are bolstered. I'm probably going to give them another bucket of sugar tomorrow, but today I have to continue my winter preparation by getting my hive heaters ready. Now, chances are you don't have the hive heaters unless you have built these. A few of you out there have. There's several of these in England, several of them in Pennsylvania, I believe McNally up in Alberta, Canada, and a few others have built these boxes. And you're going to be needing to do the same things that I need to do, and that is make sure that I get my IR heat lamps. These are basically reptile heating lamps. Make sure that you get these installed in your box and tested before you actually put these on the hives. Now, I'm not going to be putting these hive heaters on the hives tomorrow. I'm probably going to wait a couple more weeks before I do that. I've already cleaned and tested my control boxes, and I've put screen over the top vent holes to prevent the hive beetles from getting in, because I do not want hive beetles next year like I had this year. I do have an idea for rebuilding the hives over the winter and coming up with a better hive beetle solution, but that's for another video. But today, again, I'm just getting these boxes prepared. I've got the hive pillows out of storage, and now I just want to get these heat lamps screwed in, tested, make sure they work, and then we'll make some pollen patties. So these are 50-watt ceramic heat lamps. Oh, now they're broken ceramic heat lamps. Okay. I think the heated beehives are going to be a great idea this winter, specifically because a lot of my hives are weak. So here's a plug. I've just got it plugged into a extension cord. This will plug into the back of my hive, and then I just wait to see if the heat lamp gets hot. If both lamps get hot, then I know that this box works. And yes. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put a control box on these to make sure that they can come up to temperature and that they're calibrated. I'll try to bring the camera around so you can see. Okay, that is on. Now we're going to go ahead and connect the boxes. This will allow the controller and the heat box to talk to one another. Now let's see here, if I believe this one is the heater side. So let's set that to 80 degrees. There we go. Now we're going to wait to see if that gets up to 80 degrees, and then we're going to sync them both to 80. We will use this hive top. Now let's see if we can get this up to 80 degrees. Perfect. You notice that you notice that lamp just shut off, that little light? That tells me that this box has achieved 80 degrees, so it shut that off. Now this one's 79.7, so they're pretty much in sync. I like to have them in sync within a couple of degrees. This one here is almost at 80. He's almost at 81. Yeah, that's close enough for me. We know that this control unit and this heat box, they're going to work just fine. Now it's time for me to go through all of the heat boxes and make sure that I have the exact same result. So now let me get all the control units, put them on here, and then it's going to be time to go up and do pollen patties. All right, well, now the woodware is downstairs doing what it needs to do. I've got the last of the hive heaters synchronizing their temperatures between the two controllers. I'll go down and check those in a little bit. Got them all hooked up to a power strip. I hope I don't catch the house on fire, but you know what? If I caught the house on fire, then chances are I would catch the beehives on fire this winter, and I don't want to do that either. Anyways, we're going to be making pollen patties out of Ultra Bee this year, not Pollen Pro, Pollen Plus, Bee Pollen Pro, whatever it was I've been using in the past. Now I'm using Ultra Bee because I've read a lot of good reviews. A lot of other people use it, seem to like it. I've used it this year, and the bees have they've kind of grown accustomed to it, so that's what I'm going to do. It smells really good. It smells like lemon, so I don't have to really add any essential oils to this, although I should probably, but I'm not going to do that. But boy, I tell you what, Smells so good. Let me make some sugar syrup to begin, and then we'll make some pollen patties. You've seen me do this before. We're not going to go through the whole process, but basically sugar syrup, a little bit of, I just treat this like flour, put it in my blender, mix it up, make a cake out of it, put it between wax paper, and then we're good to go. We'll start the process. Lots of sugar. I've gone through a lot of sugar this year, and I didn't have a very good harvest, but I tried to make sure that each one of the bees had a full box of honey. And now, last week, they were starving. I don't know what happened to all the honey. I don't know whether it got robbed out, whether they consumed it all. I really didn't take that much honey from the bees this year. I don't really know what's going on. But fortunately, I have some sugar. I'm going to make some sugar syrup and keep giving it to them. But there you go. I go through these 25 pounds. I think this is like the 8th one of these I've gone through this year so far. That's a lot of sugar. Oh, hey, whoa, hey, whoa. Okay. Always make sure that the blender is turned down when you turn it on. Oh no. Set that aside. Let's do that again. Ah! Crisis. Okay. We're gonna try that again. Low speed. That's what I intended to do. So it is a lot of work going into winter. I mean, beekeeping it's a lot of work. Anyways, I mean, this is probably one of the most intense hobbies that I've ever had. There's a lot to do, a lot to learn, a lot to know, a lot to prepare for, and a lot of unprepared to deal with. Unprepared situations and circumstances. But this hobby, it takes a lot of effort. All right, here we go. So we are going to add a little bit of sugar syrup to that. Put that in there. Let that go, and I'll just add it until it's doughy. All right. So the first thing I want to do, let me show you the consistency of that again. It's kind of a wet dough. I mean, it's kind of dry. It's not, I guess not peanut butter, but I don't know. What do you think that looks like? I don't know. Anyways, we're going to throw some down on the wax paper. And the reason I use wax paper is because I don't want this to dry out once it gets out on the hive. I want to be able to cut this up into squares and let the bees eat it at their leisure. All right. There's that. All right, get the rolling pin out. Now we'll just turn this one into, let's see here. Yeah, we'll turn this one into 3 pollen patties. There we go. And we have our first stack, 3 pollen patties. I'd say they're about a 1/4 inch thick. Bees ought to be able to consume them pretty quickly. So we'll set those aside. Take all this extra pollen here and throw it on the next sheet of wax paper. All right, well there you go. We made it to the next day. Well, it was beautiful this morning. When I woke up, I came out, it was sunny, it was beautiful, it was gorgeous. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna wait until noon to put these pollen patties on the hive. Well, now it looks like it's gonna rain again, so we're gonna try to get this done before any rain comes, but it's kind of chilly, the sun's not coming out, and gray clouds everywhere. But we did get the pollen patties made, and they're ready to go. So we will get these girls some pollen patties. Something else, this morning when I came out here, and it was just brilliant sun, it was gorgeous. Everything looked like it was going to be right with the world. Well, I started looking because I wanted to make sure that these buckets of food were being eaten. And I went down to the purple hive, and there were ants on it. Well, you know, I have the ant blocks on my beehive so that the ants can't actually get up onto the hive. But let me tell you something. One stray piece of grass that's grown tall enough to get past the base, past the ant blocks and touch the hive is all it takes. I opened up the lid and there must have been 1 million ants crawling around on the inside. Now, thankfully I had the solid inner cover with the hole in it, so the bucket had propolis around it. The bees were not letting any ants into the hive, so none of them got in the hive, but I did have to break the feeder bucket and everything off of the purple hive, and hopefully if the weather holds out today, we're going to hit feeder buckets on all of the hives again. But right now it's pollen patty time. Oh, I have no eyes. I need eyeballs. Son of a gun. I need eyes. Oh yeah, baby. It looks like it's... Am I leaning? I feel like I'm like one of the 1970s Batman cartoons. Everybody sideways. Pow, the onomatopoeias. Let's fix this. Let's get this going before the rain comes. Maybe we'll get a burst of sunshine. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, I did get some more Apivar strips. So today when I'm done filming, I'll probably zip back there to Army and Navy and give them each another strip. Possibly the same thing down there with the sage hive. But right now, let's give these girls some pollen patties. Hey girls, you're bringing good stuff. All right, let's see what we can see. Okay. All right, girls. Just gonna be in and be out. Pollen patty. Here you go, girls. Yeah. Here you go. Here you go. Enjoy some of that. How are we doing on food? Okay. Okay, their food bucket is empty, so I am going to be bringing these girls some more food today. But for right now, you have a pollen patty. So there you go. Move on to the next one. There we go. There's one. There's two. You get two pollen patties because you were weak. There you go. There you go. Enjoy. I don't see any hive beetles. Good sign. All right, I'm just going to give these bottom boards a quick look. If I run into anything special, I'll show you. Oh! Yeah, that's special. First one. Look at that. Holy moly. Holy moly. Okay. Okay, the green hive is loaded with mites. Tons. All right, ladies. Oh, hey, ho, hey. Okay, there's quite a few on here as well. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to focus on it, but there's a bunch of mites on there. Wow. Okay. The Krynock bees have a ton of mites. Now, all that isn't mites. There's a lot of wax in there and cappings, but if you look closely, maybe I'll try to zoom in on some of them here. There are quite a few mites on this board. There you go. And the sage hive does not have a bottom board. It has a solid bottom board, so I can't get to that. Okay, well there you go. All right, well there you go. We made a lot of progress towards our winterization here, our winterizing efforts for the beehives and for the bees themselves. We did manage to get all the heat boxes synchronized. We got our pollen patties made and pollen patties put out here on the hives. Now later on this afternoon I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make some more sugar syrup, and as long as the weather holds out, I'm going to come out here and refill some buckets to make sure these girls have what they need. And I am not going to forget about the teal hive up the street. I've got a pollen patty for those girls, and I'm going to take them a fresh bucket of syrup, which will be their third in the last week and a half. So hopefully everybody will get back in their groove and be ready for the winter. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. If you have something to say, by all means, please comment. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, take a moment, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified of my new content. Try to drop a video every Friday. We try to keep it light and have fun here. All that said, I want you to be happy, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping in. Bye-bye.